Okay, yeah, we screwed.
Peace, 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 Dr. Bass. Yeah, with the Venom look out here.
Venom, Venom,
Evening.
Venom.
Yeah, evening time now, obviously. So like, yeah, but yeah, much excuses for earlier because yeah, the damn electrical company here, they fucked up as always. I mean, like, GEBE man. But anyway, we're here and yeah, based off what I was saying when we so abruptly got cut off. Shout out to DM Murdoch when she mentioned in her book Sons of God. Yeah, Sons of God, Buddha, Krishna, Buddha, and Christ. Yeah. In that book, she mentioned how a particular priest said, "Give me a child before the age of 7, and he's mine for life." And indeed, for the first 7 years of each and every individual's life, the spiritual centers within the mind and whatnot, the first eye, the heart chakra, well, then again, they can't really reach the crown chakra, but I mean to say, you know what it is I'm saying, Dr. Bass. Like they attack those parts of our brain that has to do with most particularly the right hemisphere, which has to do with art, intuition, and all that good stuff. I mean, it's no coincidence that society is so focused on logic and thinking and all that stupid shit. When shout out to Bobby Hemmett, we were always beings who operated on cosmic awareness. You know what it is I'm saying? We just knew. I mean, having to come in these physical bodies is so limiting and whatnot, but I guess it's all just part of the experience once again. But when you reincarnate into a realm like this, having to go through a system like this, bro, we had to be manifesting, we had to be great, we had to be amazing from a very young age. And well, I guess better late than never, but I mean to say it's no wonder that they're attacking the youth right now because it's a bunch of old souls per se that are being reincarnated into this realm right now. And man, I am loving the Venom look. Pure melanin, my brother. And that's what they're trying to stop. Take it away, Dr. Bass.
Oh yeah, we just all about like just knowing and just like feeling it into your intuition, whatever, like your intuition or your heart. Chakra is pretty much telling you, then that's what you should be operating in. But of course, they always be like, oh yeah, overthink this situation, overthink that, and everything like that, because like they make it seem like, oh, you should follow your brain because the brain is like quote unquote like the important, like most important thing in your body and whatnot. But
The
really,
most
it's just
important organ.
it really is just like your heart, which is really the one. And then yeah, use your melanin to kind of like experiencing different like superpowers and everything. But they're targeting the youth as well, and then it's like you just have to like come to grow into your like into yourself and be like grow within yourself so you can have like that overflow because like the star has like the 5 points, but like look at the diamond. So like look so above, so below, so within, so without. Those are the 4 points. So it's just like a shape of a diamond because we shine bright like a diamond. And they won't teach the kids anything, but they just keep feeding them unhealthy stuff. So you got all the candies, all the sugar, and all the nonsense that they just constantly pour into these kids. So at this point, you just have to be really in tune between the both in the age of 7 to
Yeah, man, brother. Like, big shout out to you on that, Dr. Bass, because, like, yeah, with the 7 pillars of society. The 7 pillars of society. Let me just get to it quick. The 7 pillars of society. It's literally right here. There we go. The 7 pillars of influence in society. Uh, yeah, just okay. And yeah, here we go. Government, family, business, media, education, religion, arts and entertainment. Those are the 7 pillars by which they influence, they trap and control every individual that is born into it. Because think about it. Once again, Animals are not the ones that are causing destruction to this realm. They live in perfect frequency, in perfect synchronicity, in perfect harmony with nature and whatnot. Yes, it has a lot of killing and whatnot, and we know that this realm, the physical realm within the occult and esoteric world, we know that the physical realm is seen as a low creation, which it is because it is literally matter. It is literally matter, which is on a slower, denser vibration. But suffice it to say, we know that this realm was not created by a loving, all powerful. I mean, I guess powerful in the sense that, yeah, they created it, but I mean to say, a loving entity, like a just, pure, kind, loving entity. Yeah, get the fuck up out of here with that nonsense. This realm was no way created by a freaking loving entity. You know it, and I know it. But the point of the matter is, these seven pillars. Big shout out to Rashad Jamal. From time we were born, my brother, at least at the age of, I would say, five, 5 to 10 or so, bro, we should have already been manifesting. We should have already been just flourishing. We should have already been abounding in the power and all the tools and all the weapons and all the gifts that were already bestowed upon us. The everything that we already have within us, all these things should have already manifested from a very young age. But I mean to say, the fact that we were born in this freaking society with shitty ass governments, with shitty ass family, with shitty ass education. Oh, don't even get me started about the education. With shitty ass freaking arts and entertainment. Don't even get me started about media and all that bullshit. Um, uh, what else? Yeah, basically everything else. Like this society, hey, bro, we're doing jail time. We remember the Bobby Hemmett video that we looked at where he explained how we were gods before the vibratory rate fell and all that stuff. Bro, we could have done anything. I mean, it's clear to us that these physical bodies were created specifically as a trap of sorts. So motherfuckers be talking about going to jail in this realm, but the more I stop and think about it, hey, we're already in jail. We're already doing time in this motherfucker. So again, people are like shout out to Brother Panic. People think that yeah, death is the worst thing ever. No, death is a liberator. Death is the one death is the one thing of which most assuredly when one accepts it for what it is, you not only put yourself in a good position to detach yourself, well, already having detached yourself from everything that has to do with this realm, but you already put yourself in a position to literally walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil, just as Psalm 23 itself perfectly tells us, because there's no reason for us to think that yeah, once again, these physical bodies mean anything special when again they're just vehicles, tools that we use to influence our signature in this realm. Like literally, as we're making this live right now and all of our previous lives, my brother, like 50, 100, 200 years down the line, once this data is still accessible and whatnot, motherfuckers can look back and be like, huh, Andy Labardi, Brandon Bass. Wow, this is some deep stuff these two brothers are talking about. You know what I'm saying? We're influencing this physical realm being in these bodies, my brother. But I need to say, yeah, it just goes so deep. And what can I say? One should come to terms with the fact that we are only passing by. We're only here temporary. We are the VIP guests. And well, Dr. Bass, put it in layman's terms for those who must get what it is that we're saying.
Yeah, so it's like we're definitely like influencing it for like the better, like turning it into like a better situation. So anyone who like comes after us is kind of like can finally like experience what we're talking about. So like a lot of people are talking about like Bob Marley, a lot of people are talking about Michael Jackson and all these other like great beings and everything like that. But in the future, the young folk is gonna be the new generation is gonna be talking about like us and like what we did and what we accomplished and everything like that. So it's kind of like setting down the roots of like fruits of our label and kind of like seeing it all come into fruition. So it's kind of like being all like true by being all true selves and being all authentic selves. It just really shows like people um who aren't themselves or kind of like put up a mask or like kind of just like continue their lives in a lying to themselves and whatnot. But with us being our true authentic selves, it kind of like sparks up this interest and sparks up this imagination for these other beings that can come down here and actually be like, oh yeah, that inspired me to do this, or this inspired me to do that, or try to like become myself. So like we're just helping people become better within themselves.
Well said, Dr. Bass. Well said. And once again, uh, we have to be very, very, very careful to know that all the traps, all the landmines, and all this stuff was already put in place the moment we incarnated as babies within these physical bodies because we came with everything, all the tools, all the gifts, all the weapons, the whole 9 yards, the whole shebang into this realm so that we could manifest what it is that we need to manifest in order to get back to our true authentic selves and to literally manifest the higher spiritual realms into this realm. I mean, it even says so in the freaking King James Bible. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I mean, the Bible in and of itself is a very esoteric book, but when you have truth mixed up with a bunch of lies and a bunch of poppycock, a bunch of nonsense, it becomes very hard to navigate. You know what it is I'm saying? It's like you're driving on a highway that's filled with nothing but fog. Sometimes the fog clears up, and other times it is thick and it's just difficult to see. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Bass? But suffice it to say, an individual born into this reality, all the best to you because if you don't have the government to deal with, you'll have ignorant or just flat out stupid family members to deal with. And if you don't have ignorant or flat out stupid family members to deal with, you're going to have stupid or rather sinister school teachers and school boards and an educational system that really is only there just to make you stupid to deal with. And if you're not dealing with that, you're going to have to deal with media that's literally only there to only feed you lies, and to influence your perspective, to mess up your mind power and your your first eye and all that to help create their bullshit, sick, absolutely twisted, low vibrational reality. And I can go on and on, but you get what it is I'm saying, Dr. Bass. We're here in this motherfucker. And the more I stop and think about it, I'm like, wait a minute. Why in the ever loving shit must we worship a god that's literally up in his kingdom, literally having the time of his life? Or I don't know, maybe he's having some kind of a argument, bitter argument with his wife and I don't know, his baby mama or some fuck. I don't know, but suffice it to say, um, why must we give up our energy to an entity that's clearly not greater than us when we're the ones who are down here catching all the heat, literally going through all the heartache, through all the pain, through all the headache, through all the suffering? Bro, we are the gods to be fucking worshipped. And I don't even mean like, yeah, worship us and give us all your energy and whatnot. No, I mean to say we are to be absolutely respected the same way Christians be wasting their energy on this God that never did shit for them. It's the same way we should literally be respected for having come from our kingdoms, our queendoms, our higher realms and whatnot, to literally come down here to help raise the vibration in this realm so that we could literally kick these parasites up and get them up out of here. Like, bro, I'm telling you, we are the ones who are supposed to be in that position to be absolutely respected and whatnot. And I'm not seeking attention. I'm not seeking to devour entities of their energy and whatnot. It's just that I mean to say, yeah, I mean, clearly this God or whatever you want to call it, because the word God is a German word, and if I'm not mistaken, once again, people don't check the etymological roots of words. especially when you read the Bible, you would know that once again, like we said in the on the first part of the live, when you're talking about the original languages, when you're talking about what is it, Kamite, ancient Greek, Latin, and all these languages, yeah, at least half the English language is Latin, mind you, and a good portion of it is also made up of ancient Greek as well. And when you're talking about other languages like ancient Kamite, you're talking about Old English, which then went to Middle English. I mean, essentially, bro, the English language is just an absolutely fucked up language. That's like it was literally only completed, so-called, what, maybe just a few hundred years ago. Just maybe not even a few hundred years ago, decades ago, this freaking language was so-called completed, my brother. But I mean to say, a lot of words when people are big shout out to Jeffrey Darty. When you go on BibleHub.com and you try to translate a lot of words from the original meaning of the languages that they derive from, you would see that how a lot of these religious people interpret these words today are not exactly how they were used back then. So like anyway, Dr. Bass, take it away because like yeah, people should really come out of the ignorance and stupidity because we're in a very sensitive time right now. No time for arguments, no time for bickering, no time for going back and forth. It's either you know or you don't know. It's either you elevate or you die with the system. Dr. Bass.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like who are just on their spiritual journey, especially the ones that just started their spiritual journey, they kind of feel like, oh, I gotta wake up my family, oh, I gotta wake up my friends and this person and that person and whatnot. But really, and when you think, oh yeah, that's my mission to wake up my family or whatnot, but let alone like your real mission is just to wake up yourself first and foremost. But at this point, like those like if you try to like force people to wake up or force people to believe in what you believe and whatnot, it's just gonna lead to more arguments and you literally just giving away your power and giving away all your energy trying to force people to awaken. And that's not the way to do it. If you wanna help inspire people, you have to do it out of at a place of peacefulness and calmness. They have to look at your lifestyle. They can't if you can't just be like, oh yeah, you better wake up. Oh yeah, you can't just like force people to like believe or like force people like you know how pastors be like, oh yeah, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're gonna Daniel go to heaven. That I see some spiritual people be doing that type of way, trying to force people like using that type of language and whatnot, but it's not the way to do it. You get what I'm saying? You have to come at a place of peacefulness, and also they have to look at your lifestyle. So you have to like act and be in that spiritual aspect of your life, but you have to walk the walk, but just not talk the talk, and that's it. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of people just talking, they just haven't been doing the action behind it. And then all this language is screwed up because it's just about dividing us, just like religion, race, etc. And for schools at this point, just like a water bath, just like a water bath, you should just be being homeschooled at this point because but it's funny because like all these parents, right? They want well, they want to have so many kids and whatnot. They just keep having kids and whatnot, but let alone they sending them to school because they don't want to deal with them. A lot of parents don't even want to deal with their kids, so they just willingly enough give them away to the government. That's why the government owns the children. That's why they have a social security number. That's why they have a birth certificate. You get what I'm saying? It all makes sense at this point. And then at this point, you don't watch the media. Whatever you consume will enter your reality. So if you keep consuming BS, if you keep consuming media with fake lies and whatnot, that's gonna be your reality. So at this point, just attune to that frequency. And then if it does come around you, if it does, until you're like you hear it, like, you know what I'm saying, you walk by and you hear people talking about it and whatnot, just be like, oh, that's not my reality. Oh, that's their drama, that's their problem, but it's not my problem because I'm living in peace. It's just that simple.
Indeed, Dr. Bass, indeed. We're not here. I mean, remember the video I shared with Bobby? I think it was maybe the live before the last one. I think it was two lives ago where he said family are the ones who fuck us up every time, especially when we come across new information like a spiritual revelation that comes to us and whatnot. Family are the number one motherfuckers who keep fucking you up because again, they grew up with you. They uh have a good idea of your ego's mannerisms and whatnot. Because think about it, you cannot compare the true you, the true spiritual you, the great soul, eternal being with the ego. The ego is a temporary being that knows it has to do everything that it can to try to it's like a child throwing a tantrum. It wants attention, but it knows that it's not going to be around forever. So like they know a lot based off of your ego and who you used to be in the past. But considering as multidimensional spiritual beings, we're waking up to who we truly are. We're becoming more and more of our true authentic selves. We're departing further and further from who we used to be with all the brainwashing and all the junk and all the fuckery. And yeah, family are the number one motherfuckers who keep fucking us up every time. It's just that simple. I mean, fuck the people at the job. You could literally just get up and quit that fucking job. I don't need to put up with you stupid bitches no more. Or the people at the church. Fuck you. I'm not coming to this stupid ass church no more. Y'all dumb as fuck. Family, though. They say blood is thicker than water. Rudolf Steiner, I advise people to get Rudolf Steiner's book, The Occult Significance of Blood. In it, he explains why blood is such a very potent and a very subtle yet powerful substance within the body. And there's no wonder why these Masons and whatnot, they always look to do blood rituals, blood sacrifices, and all that kind of stuff because there is a occult significance of blood, as the book is aptly titled, that they are aware of that motherfuckers just don't seem to comprehend. So, yeah, Rudolf Steiner's The Occult Significance of Blood, because when it comes to family members and whatnot, bro, yeah, the same way spiritually we have to grow up and uh, go back within, get back within to tap back into our true power because once again there is no greater power than your own power. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You don't need no entity outside of you to complete you or to do anything for you. I mean, granted, you do have your spiritual team and your spiritual brethren, the whole nine yards, but they are their own beings. They are their own universe. They are their own entities. They got to do their own thing. You got to grow into your own power. You got to transcend. You got to ascend. You got to get back to who it is that you truly are. So, yeah, to worship a God outside of you is to worship a God inferior to you. Shout out to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for that one. And it makes so much sense. Christians right now continue to be fucked in the minds. Religious people continue to be fucked in the minds because they worship an entity that's not even stronger than them, that's not even more powerful than them. And this fake ass matrix society is a very good example of that. The beings that are the weakest, the parasites, are literally running shit. What kind of fucking dog shit is that? But anyway, Dr. Bass, I shared four videos with you earlier, my brother. The first one is well, actually, there's one where we're going to dive into sexual magic, which is literally one of the most powerful, one of the most ancient ritual practices out there to help people to manifest the spiritual into the physical. Yeah, the non-melanated lady with the well, she's sharing the books, Venus O'Hara, I think she calls herself. Yeah, either way, anyone who's helping to spread our science and our knowledge to the world, big shout out to them. So yeah, let the people listen to what it is that experts who know what it is that they're talking about have to share, Dr. Bass.
Yeah, let me share
Yeah.
and illustrate.
Make this video actually, and they actually asked me if I had any recommendations as well as sexual energy and yoga. This book is not actually about sex magic, but I highly recommend it if you are interested in sacred sexuality. This really, for me, sums up the meaning and how just it describes how special sexuality really is, but it's not about sex magic. Anyway, but we are going to be talking about books on sex magic, and I've got my favorite ones here from my bookshelf. A little bit about my practice of sex magic. Well, I have been practicing now for just over 4 years. I think it's completely changed my life. I think it's changed my mindset, and it helps me to focus. And I think manifestation is about mindset first and foremost, and then of course it has to be about actions, taking the relevant actions to actually make whatever it is come true, or try at least, and then surrender, which is like not being attached to your desired outcome. But you can't just stay at home and practice sex magic and imagine or expect miracles, but it's definitely part of the process. And here are my favorite books on it. I've watched a lot of videos on sex magic, I've been practicing it, I've been developing my own techniques, and these are the books that have really influenced me the most. So let's start with one of my favorites, which is Adventures in Sex Magic: Control Your Life with the Power of Lust by Damon Brand. This is a very easy to read book. It's just 80 pages. And if you want to just get started in sex magic without learning about long, complicated rituals or the history or anything like that, if you want to get right into it, this is the book for you. It's very simple, very straightforward. I read it in 2 days, but it's something I go back to as a book of reference very, very frequently. And it talks about a basic process, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a six-part process of let's say, setting an intention, thinking about what your desired outcome is, then enjoying your fantasies, and then right before orgasm, you are thinking about the thing you want to manifest again. And then, as you're getting your breath back, you would chant a word that's associated with that desired outcome. It could be success, 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 or love, 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 or health, 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 something like that, until you get your breath back. And it also talks about letting go here, I can see, which is amazing. Forget about the magic, revel in the afterglow of sex. Yeah, so this talks about solo practice and working with a partner, and also in a group, which is not something that resonates with me personally, but I think it's always good in life to open your mind to different things that you might not agree with, just to kind of know what they're about, and you can challenge your own beliefs. And it also talks about sigils, which are magical symbols that you can work with. So they are symbols that represent your desired outcome. And it's very interesting, sigils, because you create this symbol based on your desired outcome. And as you are making it, you put all your emotion into it, imagining you already have achieved that goal, and then you forget about it for a few days. For this reason, I think it's good to have several sigils. I always do 3. I think 3 is the magic number. And then after a few days, I will pick up my magical symbol and I will look at it just at the moment of orgasm. So during the process, you don't actually set an intention at the beginning. It's just kind of enjoying the sexual stimulation, and then at the point of orgasm, you look at this symbol because you're communicating with your subconscious, and then you go, which is kind of a different approach to actually setting an intention and being conscious about the thing you're trying to manifest. So I like to have a combination of both techniques. And something in this book that it doesn't resonate with me, apart from the group sex, which is not really my thing, it talks about sex magic with a partner, as if, for example, that you could be doing your own magic and your partner not being aware of it. That's not something that I think it doesn't seem right to me personally. I would rather, when I'm with a partner, I just kind of enjoy the moment. But I don't really think about doing magic. But if I was in a very serious relationship, let's say, and I had a shared goal with my partner, I think it could be incredible to have a shared goal and both be focused on that goal at the moment of orgasm. That could be incredibly powerful. But just doing it and kind of using someone else's body just doesn't really seem right to me personally. But obviously everyone has to do what is right for them. I'm just cherry picking from each book. So the things I have cherry picked from here is the basic process, very simple and not too ritualistic, and the sigil methods in here. So sigil is magical symbols, and I actually use the method that's taught in this book. Another book that I really like about sex magic is Sexual Sorcery, a complete guide to sex magic by Jason Augustus Newcomb. And this is a very loving book. And it talks about the history of sex magic in great detail, all different types of rituals. Even it talks about using tarot cards, and it's just very, it's a lot of different types of rituals that you can do, and it's very ritualistic. So if you want to, for me, I haven't really taken anything from this book that I have applied to my practice. It's just helped me to kind of know a bit more about the topic in general. So I definitely recommend this book if you want to know a bit more about the history, where it comes from, and different techniques. This is very interesting. I like the fact that it's kind of more focused on kind of loving relationships rather than orgies with strangers and things like that. So this is very nice. It's very nice to read, but it's quite dense. So you don't want to read too much in one session because it's got so much information in it. And another book that I really like, which possibly I'm kind of doubting about which one is my favorite, but this could be it. It's Modern Sex Magic: Secrets of Erotic Spirituality by Donald Michael Craig. This book is absolutely fantastic. It goes into lots of detail about the history, which I kind of got bored with, if I'm honest. I do think I have to go back and learn a bit more about it, because this is my favourite subject after all, so I do think it's important to know. And also it talks about 3 different types of sex magic: the monofocal, being solo practice, duofocal, 2 people, and polyfocal, which I'm definitely not into. But something that's very interesting is that it also talks about incorporating sex magic into your BDSM and kink practices, which just sounds so intriguing. And something I really love about this book is that he has a section that has been written by women magicians. Because a lot of sex magic books that I've read, a lot of them here are written by men, so it's kind of interesting to get the female perspective on it. I'm going to read a little extract for you about sex toys. And as you know, if you follow me, I am a sex toy reviewer, so to think about sex toys being an important tool in the practice of sex magic is something that I absolutely love. Okay, so let's listen to this. All sex toys should be honored and treated as ritual magical objects, within which, they may be the most powerful magical tools ever to reside in one's sacred repertoire, but are often treated much the way the male sex magicians of old treated their partners, as objects hidden away or abandoned in disgust or indifference when not being used. The sex act and all peripheral aspects of it must be considered sacred. It's so cool. It makes me think about consecrating my own sex toys as if they are all magic wands. And there are sex toys called magic wands, actually, these massagers, but it now has a greater meaning. I do believe that sex toys are important tools. They are sexual wellness devices, but they are also magical tools. So that's very cool. So this is a great book. Even though it's a big book, it's actually quite easy to read, and it's full of incredible information about sex magic. The most recent book that I have read about sex magic is this one called Sex Magic: Release and Control the Power of Your Erotic Potential by Frater U.D. This book I read just a month and a bit ago. During my holiday, I went to I went near Andorra. I live in Barcelona, so that was about 3 hours on a train. And I was very I was very absorbed by this book, which was fantastic. So it made the train journey seem very enjoyable going there and coming back. So 6 hours of train ride was just like, wow, this book is amazing. And it does emphasize or talk about sex magic as a solo practice, which is something I really like, because I am mostly practicing as a solo person. I'm not really doing it with someone else. And I've underlined so much in this book. There's so much wisdom in here. I've cherry picked as well the things that I applied to my own life, because it does talk about sex magic in general, and how it's been practiced in the past and today with certain things that I don't quite agree with or would never do. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. Yeah, so very picking and choosing the bits that I like. This little bit it's kind of a bit more ritualistic than what I actually do. I think my practice is becoming a little bit more ritualistic as I go along, but in general, it tends to be with sigils or without sigils. I do kind of incorporate things like crystals or music, affirmations, which is something I kind of like created myself. I haven't read that in any book. But this book is fantastic, and this could be a first book to read about it as well. It goes into a lot of the kind of preparations about it before getting to the nitty gritty, but it's still very informative, and I've underlined so much in here. It's just a wealth of information. And last but not least, this could be the first book I read on sex magic, which is The Art of Sexual Magic: Cultivating Sexual Energy to Transform Your Life by Margot Anand. And she is also the author of The Art of Sexual Ecstasy. This is a really beautiful and loving book. It's really focused on, I think, on couples, and there's lots of exercises that you can do. And some of the exercises take several pages to kind of go through. And if you're a solo person, single person doing reading, it's like, okay. It's informative, definitely, but it's something I was thinking I want to come back to this when I found Mars O'Hara, for sure. But I like some of the exercises and about how that really promote intimacy within a couple. Sometimes not even just magical, just intimacy in general. So it's a very loving book for couples. There's some how would I say? There's some kind of theory parts, and then getting into different practices. But it's still, yeah, it's kind of like an interesting textbook. And yeah, a lot of love in this book. And even though it's a big book, it did feel quite light to read as well. But I'm definitely going to come back to this later on in my life. Yeah, so those are my favorite books on sex magic, and I'm also developing my own technique. So what about you? Have you practiced sex magic? Do you have any favorite books about this practice? If so, let me know if you read any of these ones, or if you have any others to recommend. Because I sometimes do a search in Amazon about sex magic, and not all of them resonate with me, but I do want to kind of like understand the topic as much as I can in the future. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know. And that's it for today. And if you have any questions about sexuality, sex toys, relationships,
Man, let me tell you something, Dr. Bass. Man, let me tell you something. Yo, we probably could have just stopped right there with that lovely lady. But man, I'm telling you, Dr. Bass, it is amazing, right? And having read, or as I'm currently reading one of Robert Anton Wilson's books, Ishtar Rising. Yeah, that's another book that I recommend people get. Ishtar Rising, which is funny because originally, if I'm not mistaken, was um the book was originally titled when he first released it, The Book of the Breast, where in it he explains how the breast uh not only was it originally a sign of fertility and high energy and life, because that's what sexuality is, the coming of the masculine and feminine energies in order to create something great. Nope. patriarchy decided to come and fuck everything up. Which makes me wonder the fact that we cannot look at the ancient world with modern eyes. Just how great was it when matriarchy was really running things, you know? And I think we get a good idea, or at least some kind of a picture in it of that in Monica Shaw and Barbara Moore's book, which I always recommend, the Great Cosmic Goddess, Great Cosmic Goddess, or the Great Cosmic Mother. I think it's called the Great Cosmic Goddess, but yeah, by Barbara Moore and Monica Shaw. In that book they go into detail about how sexual magic and whatnot, to add to what Venus herself here is saying, sexual magic, tantra, and whatnot. These were originally practices that were created by women and for women. It makes sense because, especially when you talk about the melanated woman, she is a anthropomorphic humanoid manifestation of the universe itself. So, like, yeah, she existed as the first human before everyone else, even before the melanated man, of which the more I look at the Bible and the story of woman having come from man's rib and whatnot, I'm like, but if you really stop and look at it on a day-to-day basis, Dr. Bass, not only is sex in and of itself magic, not only is the coming of a man and woman in sexual union powerful enough to create a baby, which is magic in and of itself, because you bring an entity from its own realm, create a physical body to bring it into this realm, but like it's just so deep, right? But once again, patriarchy had to come and fuck everything up. And if I have to go by what Dr. Mumbi herself already said, it was a particular group of masculine electric beings, lower vibrational beings, who came and tried to suppress the divine feminine, because we know that this is a feminine realm. This is a magnetic realm. This realm is heavily feminine. Remember what we spoke about earlier with the fruits and whatnot, how apples resemble women's buttocks, and you cut an apple or a papaya or an orange, any one of these fruits open, the inside literally looks like a vagina, and plus it has seeds. Like, goodness gracious, reality, at least down here, is very feminine, very feminine. So why does patriarchy continue to make women and the magnetic energy look like the worst fucking thing ever? Maybe that's because it is a destructive, untamed, or rather, the feminine energy originally gave birth to the masculine energy as a form to try to add some order to its unbridled chaos, because that's what melanin is, unbridled chaos. And we could go so deep into that, but you could watch Bobby Hemmett's videos and lectures to really comprehend and go deeper into detail with that. But yeah, we could literally stop with Venus right here, but I mean to say it's just so deep, it's just so amazing, right? Sex in and of itself being one of the final frontiers in order for us to manifest our goals and desires, but on a grander scale, to bring the spiritual realm into the physical realm. Dr. Bass, what the fuck went wrong, and what is it that people should be doing in order to, yeah, comprehend and truly grasp the information that's being shared here, in order to accept sex as the great sacred ritual that it is?
Yeah, so like with like they view like sex as being like a negative light, and just by the media and how it's portrayed online and everything like that. So it's like, by following kind of like humanity's viewpoint, it kind of seems like it's a bad idea. It's like, oh, you shouldn't focus on your desires. Oh, you should have like self-doubt, or like, what I'm saying, you're doing the wrong thing and everything like that. But of course, there's like always a balance between both of them as well. So like you can't just be on one side or the other. You should always be in the middle. So yes, you should always have that balance. But like just with the fruit comment, like fruits are really women, and then you see the seeds. Those seeds are the men that's producing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once they come together, that's bringing fruit to life. You get what I'm saying? So like they just constantly just view it as kind of like pleasure seeking, but like if you really see like the bigger picture of it, then you can see like the willpower behind it, but also you have to control it, right? You can't just like use it just for pleasure, or like you can use it for like manifestations and everything like that, but that's always a balance between itself, but setting intentions and everything. So actually had like one person, like I think it was like 2 years ago, someone was like telling me like, yo, you want to mix blood? And I was like, what this go talking about? I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, that was pretty
That's some deep
good.
stuff. That's some deep stuff, my brother. Mixing blood and the fact that you mentioned it, as I had already previously mentioned Rudolf Steiner's The Occult Significance of Blood book. Like, man, that is not a coincidence. Talk about synchronicity.
Oh yeah, and then like oh yeah, and then like don't people tell don't tell people about your spiritual journey, or like your journey, or like your goals and aspirations to like, especially towards like low vibrational beings, because they just gonna try to bring you back to their type of level and try to make you think, oh yeah, that's not possible, or oh yeah, like you, why are you doing this? Like, you know what I'm saying? But of course, you know where you're heading, and of course, you know where you're trying to go to. But of course, you're gonna have other people's influence trying to like bring you down and whatnot. So it's really important to just not listen to anyone unless they're successful, or like they walked in your shoes as well.
Good stuff, Dr. Bass. Good stuff, Dr. Bass. I mean, like, seriously, it's all about striking that balance. And, just like what Brother Panic said, we live in a dualistic world, we live in a dualistic realm. Matriarchy had its time, it had its reign, it had its glory. Patriarchy had to rear its ugly head so that we could see all the fuckery and all the nonsense that comes from it. But the thing about it is, we got to remember at the same time that, yeah, these beings came at the ripe time. Yeah, the ripe, I mean, the times that we're in, the season that we're in, was just ripe enough for these beings to come in because the vibratory rate just kept falling and falling. So again, it all just ties back to yeah, divine synchronicity and prophecy, and looking into the future, different timelines, dimensions, realities. These beings could not exist in a high frequency realm because they just cannot walk through that door. Lower vibrational beings cannot exist in high vibrational realities, plain and simple. So the vibratory rate had to fall in order for these beings to come in and commit all the nonsense that they're known for. But I mean to say, yeah, sorry for the background noise. Yeah, sorry for the background noise, but I mean to say, yeah, Dr. Bass, it's some deep stuff. And like, yeah, any final words before we get to the Bobby Hemmett video that I shared?
Uh, nah, I think you said it all. Like you killing it all. Like, yeah, my God.
Uh, Indeed, just thanks Source that we're here able to do it, my brother. But yeah, let's go to the Bobby Hemmett video, Sexual Magic, because of course, Bobby, he's one of the few individuals to always share the good stuff.
The last frontier of magic is sexual magic. It's sexual magic, tantric magic. Tantric magic is for you to hold out enough for the sister to get a certain amount of orgasms. If she can get a certain amount of orgasms, there's a ray of light that come on around you and the sister, and you both get the energy around that ray of light. But the key is to hold out until she get that particular orgasm. Now, if you start at a certain point, there's the book Sexual Alchemy, is one in here. is one I got on here, Donald Tyson. A Modern Sex Magic, Donald Michael Craig, which is excellent. And then one of the definitive texts is Tantra, the Cult of the Feminine by Andre von Leisfeld. And once she gets a certain amount of, and especially in that book, Andre von Leisfeld, he documents it. There's a certain energy that comes around both of you all, and you can create what you want. Let's say you want a certain amount of energy, create a certain amount of things for the community, for the job, for your job, or whatever you want to do, to manipulate this physical down here. You can do it in the tantric level of you and your woman seeing eye to eye when you bumping and grinding, and you both getting a certain amount of orgasm.
That was in that movie, Revelation.
Yes. I saw that, yeah.
They were trying to bring in Christ.
Yeah, and that's one of the things on this tantric level. In the bedroom, that's the, so other than the Apollo, which is the last Olmec, what you call it, Olmec Congo, the last gateway of magic that's left is the tantric level. Is the tantric level. The key here is if you start practicing on not having an orgasm. Now, first of all, the men, just do this. If you having sex, if you can bring your woman to an orgasm before you nut, get up. That should be the end of the sex. Because you want to get into a practice of not ejaculating. Ejaculation should not be the object. After about a couple of weeks, couple of months, maybe a year, you'll start orgasming instead of ejaculation. It's just a lot of you don't know what orgasm is. Orgasm is a series of spasms that when you really get into it, it's just as good as an ejaculation. So and you can have more of them. So if you can, so my point here is, the first thing to do is to, if your woman can have an orgasm before you nut, then you get up after she has the orgasm. First of all, I know it's something because what you're going to find out is this stuff. This is what you're going to find out. After a couple of months, then ejaculation is going to be a letdown. Once you start to reverse it, ejaculation, when you nut, be like, oh, fuck, I done damn nutted.
It's all wheat and grain. Fucking waste. Yeah. You drain all your energy.
So you get into a thing, and after a while, the centrifugal force will reverse. And you can go longer and longer without doing it. You see what I'm saying? One way is simply you let her sit on top of you so the gravity keeps the vagina, keeps the energy down to a certain point. You see what I'm saying? And you just work with it over the course of the year. You're going to have some fuck-ups on this one. But over the course of the year, you'll start orgasming. You see what I'm saying? And the more you hold, the more and more you learn how to not ejaculate, the more and more energy you're going to create, because you're going to give her time to have a certain amount of orgasms. And when you start having them, then you start creating a real deal magic. So a lot of this magical system, the most powerful, the most ancient, is the only one that's left behind now, is the tantric. That's the powerful one, you see. And the first step of, a lot of stuff with the tantric is not as complex as some of these books make it out. The first step is the man to stop, to learn how to prolong his ejaculation. So if you can get up, believe me, it's psychological.
Dr. Bass, any words based off of, well, your own experience and yeah, in relation to what Bobby just explained right there? Because remember, all these videos, the editors of these particular videos, because Bobby used to do a lot of lectures back in the day, and yeah, I'm talking lectures that go off for like maybe 2, 3, sometimes 5 hours and whatnot when he really gets into the deep spiritual stuff. But yeah, the videos are usually shortened to address the point that the editor of the video is looking to share with a larger audience. But suffice it to say, yeah, Dr. Bass, let the people know what it is, especially the men, because we know women, women, man. I mean, if James Bond really had to come across individuals, that is, women who would really give him a run for his money, he would learn to not just respect them, but he'd even be terrified of having sex because, yeah, women, they can go on and on and on and on when they really get in that zone, but a man can only go so long because he's giving energy, whereas she's receiving energy. I mean, I guess especially from an occult esoteric standpoint, you could guess why legends of succubi and vampires and that kind of stuff exist, especially where women are concerned. But that's just their fucking nature. They can go on and on and on. But again, Dr. Bass, share with the people what it is that they gotta know. Because sexual magic, this is some deep, ancient stuff that we're talking about. And yeah, people really have to respect it and honor it for the great ritual that definitely serves as a door to lead back, or rather, bring the higher spiritual realms into this one. Dr. Bass.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of like you have to get to the point where you can make your lady kind of like give you that same type of energy back. It's not like you just always giving the energy and that she's receiving it, but you have to get to a point where you both can just give each other that same type of energy together and then build off of there. Because a lot of men thinking like, oh, you know what I'm saying? A lot of men kind of not using like sex in the wrong way. They're using sex in the wrong way because they're just releasing their energy, releasing, but they're not getting anything in return. So if you really know how to please your lady, that's where she can meet you in the middle, and then you can both can just be on that same type of wavelength and give each other both that type of energy. But at that point, you have to like there was like so many. It goes really deep. Like, listen, at this point, if y'all wanna if you wanna know how to please your lady respectfully, listen, sign up for a consultation. I'll teach you all the juicy stuff. All right, I'll teach you all this good stuff. Okay.
All right, all right. A shameless plug right there. I respect it. I respect it, Dr. Bass. Yeah, man. Let the people know what it is. It's your channel. It's your platform. Well, that is wait. Oh yeah, we're on Zoom, of course, of course. Yeah, it's your platform, and yeah, just let them know what it is, my brother, because yeah, sex, tantra, all these like the sexual magic and whatnot, these are ancient practices that go back thousands of cycles of us being here, my brother. Because like, yeah, these practices, they're so ancient, they're so original, they're so pure, like it literally ties back to the higher realms, my brother. Even if you just want to look at it from the sexual standpoint, hey, when we get to the next video from Brother Yosef, he's going to explain what it is that yeah individuals, especially men, should be doing in order to really increase their vitality and whatnot. But yeah, Dr. Bass, let the people know as well. Consultations, juicy stuff. Yeah, Dr. Bass.
Yeah. What was the next video you want?
Yeah, Brother Yosef. Something. What
Oh,
is it?
okay. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. The last video that we're going to share is with Brother Panic, although it doesn't have anything to do with sex in particular, but it's all still spiritual stuff, and yeah, definitely stuff that the people ought to be aware of, my brother.
Every time you ejaculate, you just killed yourself, right? Every time you ejaculate, you kill yourself. And what do I mean by that? Well, every time a man ejaculates, he pulls from all his vital organs just to push out that one, get off that one time. He trying to bust one time, and if he pulls from literally his brain, his heart, his liver, his kidneys, his spleen, his lungs, he pulls from all his vital organs just to give his sperm life. So every time
God
you
damn.
bust one off, fellas, you actually killing yourself, man. You drain your life force. It's important to understand that. A woman is more dominant in her sexual activity. A lot of y'all know this already because she can have orgasm, 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 right? So in the bedroom, she's always gonna be dominant. Some men, at the most go 30 minutes, right? Some men go, believe it or not, 2, 3 minutes. They out for the count. It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it
And
right there quick,
you got to
Dr.
work on
Bass.
that, fellas. So I want to.
Man, Dr. Bass, just I'm telling you, right? Yo, you listen to the facts, right? Once you listen to these facts, yo, I'm telling you, it's no wonder that these religions and whatnot. But then again, it all has to do with patriarchy again. I mean, if you read the Bible is one of the most sexist documents ever written. Like, it treats women like absolute dog shit. It treats them like nothing but, again, like what Venus herself mentioned earlier, tools that are just to be fucking put away in absolute shame or some shit like that. Like, yeah, and especially when you look at the process of making a baby, which is like literally just opening that portal for a spiritual being to have a physical experience. Like, I want to know what is it that um yeah, like, really, you look at patriarchy the way it treats women and whatnot. I mean, I'm not gonna act like as if a lot of women aren't fucked in the minds, because they are, sadly. And I really wish that all of it could change for the better for both men and women, especially melanated men and women. Like, I just wish it could change for the better, because, like, I mean, we ruled this realm for millions of cycles and whatnot. I mean, like, everything was so spiritual. Everything was predominantly to just tie back or go back to where it is that we originally came from. But, like, yeah, a lot of our own men and women today are just fucked in the minds. But you know what? Shout out to Bobby when he mentioned about the masses having only ever been good for one thing throughout history, and it's getting slaughtered. But yeah, a woman is more dominant in her sexuality, and women have are like, their genes are more dominant. Think about it. They're the ones who carry a baby for 9 months. They're the one who carries a baby for 9 months. So even if a man does have just a little bit of his own genetic structure within that baby, brothers, yeah, I gotta admit, because even young Pharaoh himself admitted, you could go on young Pharaoh's website and enroll and whatnot. I'm not sponsored by Young Pharaoh or anything. It's just, that's a brother who really helped me along my spiritual journey and whatnot. He's very familiar with genetics and yeah, the body and the inner workings of the body and whatnot. But he already explained how uh women naturally have stronger genes than men, and it makes sense because she's the one who gives birth. She's the one who allows life to enter into this realm. So yeah, women have stronger genes. Big fucking deal. Get over it. Men, stop acting like as if you're the shit, because in reality, your existence in this realm is really to help the woman to solidify the higher cosmic spiritual realms in this realm. But when men and women came in that perfect unison, when they harmoniously united with one another, yeah, it just made it so much more sense, because yeah, um woman being the original human being in this realm, yeah, especially the melanated woman, she knows it all. She knows it all. So, like, yeah, she's an ancient, an elder. She's literally a veteran when it comes to all this stuff. But I mean to say, like, yeah, a woman, and in that sense, woman, because of what she is, like the black hole. Big shout out to Bobby Hemmett. The black holes that are in space, yeah, our melanin is made up of that same substance, that same matter. And it's the same way that especially the melanated woman's vagina is literally a black hole in and of itself, because once it starts to suck, it can suck and suck until it, like a vampire, it could literally drain you of your life force. Bobby Hemmett himself has lectures where he explains this and whatnot. So, like, yeah, this is the information. Y'all do the research, listen, go out there, research, see for yourself. I mean, listen for yourself. But experience is always king. And like the more you know, the better it is, because you've literally had that experience already, being in the act, being in the action. But I mean, yeah, Dr. Bass, like, you could see where a lot of these freaking religious people and whatnot, that it's like they're terrified of sex and they have to make women seem like absolute monsters and whatnot. But the reality of it all is that's their nature. And this is exactly where incubi and succubi legends come from, because energy is a very chaotic and destructive thing, which melanin also is. So, like, if you don't know how to control your own energy, that very same energy that you possess could fucking destroy your physical body, because, again, we are not these physical bodies. So, like, Dr. Bass, please explain it in layman terms as we get back with Brother Joseph.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you really just have to like know how to control yourself. Like you can't just like let it just like overly possess you in a way, but like kind of like using it to your advantage. So like that's why that's why before you do anything, setting your intentions straight and having pure true intentions from your higher self, that's always like good to know. And also when you're in that state, right, you should be manifesting as well because you're having that divine connection to your spiritual realm. So that will help your manifestation come even faster. You get what I'm saying? But most people just thinking, oh yeah, let me just like focus on this or focus on that. But like there's so much other things you can really focus on while you're doing that as well. But with like Christianity and all these religions and whatnot, it's like they just make it seem like, oh yeah, let's not talk about that, or let's not, you know what I'm saying? They always be like, oh yeah, have sex until you get married and whatnot. Like, but the pastor over here got like 4 kids and whatnot. They don't tell you what they be doing behind closed doors, but like they be judging you though. You know what I'm saying? So like at this point, forget about what they be talking about because they be doing whatever they want to do. They don't really care because they're getting the paycheck. But with you just hoping and praying to a Daniel entity that you don't even meet yet. So at this point, the pastor's rolling in the dough, but like you over here just wishing on something.
I mean, yeah, you just nailed it right there, Dr. Bass. And to add to the whole religious psychosis and whatnot, I mean, it's really a religious psychosis when you stop and think about it. These motherfuckers took our sciences, they stole our sciences. I mean, thank goodness, thank Source, thank the spiritual team, True Self, the whole 9 yards, our spiritual kingdoms, queendoms, the whole 9 yards, that they didn't even take the truly deepest, darkest, and most intricate sciences that we already discovered and whatnot. And yet they've been able to do so many fucking damage within the little time that they've been around. Think about it, bro. These parasites have not been around for that long, yet they've been able to do so much damage off of the little that they got their hands on. Jeez, imagine if they got the rest 95, 96%. What the fuck? We'd be coming here. We don't, bro. We'd probably be trapped down here for so damn long until the physical realm ceased to exist or some fuck. But I mean to say, yeah, we're not giving power to any of these entities. They are what they are. They're parasites. They need our life force in order to live and whatnot. But to add to these fucking religious people and whatnot, isn't it amazing that these priests and these deacons and whatnot, they out here literally fucking the nuns, they fucking little girls, they fucking little boys, heck, they're even fucking animals for all we know. And yet these motherfuckers are so damn wealthy and whatnot. You be seeing the bling that they be coming out with the gold crosses, the gold chains, the fucking gold throne and whatnot. while you have people out here struggling, just trying to make ends meet, could barely pay the electric bill, could barely pay the internet, could barely pay for fucking gas, could barely pay for heat. I mean, what the fuck? Bro, this system is absolutely whack and whatnot. And yeah, I'm not really deviating per se. It's just that you really stop and think about it. These motherfuckers out here doing whatever the fuck they want, and people continue to allow them to get away with these things when the people are the majority and they're the few. I mean, like, goodness gracious, Dr. Bass, this whole entire system, as we see it collapsing right before our very eyes, we got to let this piece of shit collapse. May it fall. May we invoke and evoke its destruction as well as their destruction because, yeah, they rely on this system and whatnot. So fuck them all. And honestly, Dr. Bass, yeah, it's about time that we literally started manifesting and we literally brought the spiritual realms to this realm. And honestly, sexual magic is one of those gateways, but again, it's about exercising control. It's about men and women literally getting out of that fucked up mentality that they've been beaten and raped and humiliated to be into so that we could literally rise above it so that we could get back to who it is that we really are. And yeah, any last words before we get back to Brother Yosef, Dr. Bass?
Yeah, so like with like these pastors and everything like that, you can just see like people just putting them on a pedestal and whatnot. Well, like they over here sitting on the throne and whatnot. Everyone else just sitting on like wooden chairs and whatnot. They really don't care about y'all. You know what I'm saying? So they just worried about. You remember that pastor who hit the lottery? He didn't even give back to the church. He closed that church down and
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
probably moved out or like moved into another state and whatnot. So like at this point, yeah.
I
So,
mean, it's so pathetic and sad, and I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, in one sense, at least he was honest about his intentions, and like, yeah, he closed the church down. But I mean, motherfucker, you could not even give a little bit of chump change to everybody who were members in that church. I mean, like, goodness gracious, Dr. Bass, I let these religiously I let these religiously psychotic Christians I just let them do whatever it is that they want to as long as they don't breach my private space, they don't breach my own personal space because I have no time to bicker, argue, or get into no verbal nonsense with anyone, especially considering that there are so many lower vibrational beings that we just have no business of being around, let alone interacting with on a daily basis, which is why I am totally an advocate for moving off grid because, like, bro, this whole system is just so parasitic. It's just so energy draining. Just thinking about it is so unhealthy. Like, anyway, let's get back to Brother Yosef, Dr. Bass, because fuck this system, man.
Tell y'all something y'all can do to make y'all last longer. And what you can do is you can hold if you pay attention to your breath, right? If a man is having sex with a woman and he feel like he's about to get off, you you know what? There's tantra books, and I got a lot of them, but I don't got none in front of me because all tantra books say the same thing. So I want y'all to just buy y'all a good book on tantric magic, and what it's going to do is going to teach you guys how to um, use your breath to actually pull your semen. So it doesn't go out, it goes in, right? And as it go in, you ejaculate. So you don't ejaculate out. You ejaculate and you pull your semen up your spine, and your pineal gland is your clitoris. Okay? So a man, your pineal gland is up here. Once you can get the semen to circulate, right? And they talk about that in who book? Montauk Chia. I'm telling y'all, a hidden master. I keep talking about his books in all my videos. Get the Montauk Chia books, and he'll teach you the whole science behind this. Fusion of the Five Elements, that Pacific book. Get the book Fusion of the Five Elements with Montauk Chia. He talks about circulating the energy with your consciousness, but also using your semen, right? And as you circulate that semen in your body up and down your spine, what happens is you charge the semen. The semen is getting charged up, and then when you do ejaculate, the semen is more powerful. You can use that semen for spells. You can use that semen to give birth to a more powerful child, a more healthier child, right? So some men ejaculate on a weak level, and the child can come out sick. The child can come out with different things, and it ain't just the man fault; it's the man and woman fault for having sex on such a lower chakra level. So this is why it's not good to have sex when you high, right? It's not good to have sex when you're drunk, and a lot of babies get born through, they parents drinking, and boom. Some men, they can't even get turned on unless they get a shot of henny or something like that. And we gotta learn, fellas, how to get turned on in different ways without getting that shot of henny. It's cool, but if you're trying to make children, don't do it. Don't do it because you're pulling your chakra level down when you're actually intoxicated, right? And you're having sex. I know some fellas say, yeah, but that henny had me performing, brother. I be going on that henny. I hear you, bro. But when you're trying to have children, you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. And also, for men, we sometimes lose testosterone. So I want to tell you guys, you want to get this thing called Tungkat Ali, right? Tungkat Ali. It's a very powerful herb that will raise your testosterone levels. Okay, and you can take the Tungkat spelled Tongkat space Ali Ali. Don't keep asking me how to spell it, y'all, because I just spelled it for y'all. But fellas, get that. That's good for testosterone. Tungkat Ali. If you don't know what it is, just say what I just said on the Google. Look for Tungkat Ali. It's a powerful herb and will raise your levels, your testosterone levels. Okay, very powerful.
Yeah, man, Dr. Bass. Well, what can I say? Brother Joseph literally just said it right there in just a 4 minute and change edited video. I mean, like, yeah, there's honestly not much that I could say right there. Like, it's some good stuff. Like, yeah, man, brother. Like, yeah, men, yeah, the way we be having sex and whatnot, it's just so unhealthy. Like, and think about it, Dr. Bass, we be having low chakra, low vibrational sex and whatnot, bringing in all these fucked up low vibrational beings into this realm. And yeah, this shit gotta stop. I just wish it could stop. I just wish it could fucking stop because really, what's the point of bringing all these sexual, I mean, these low vibrational, low frequency beings here, and all they're doing is if not now, eventually they just keep adding to the already low vibratory, low frequency, low energy state that this world is already in. Like, exactly why, honestly speaking, if it comes down to that, better you just don't fucking have sex, period. Because, yeah, bro, it's literally just adding to the already low vibratory state that the group consciousness is only now slowly but surely getting out of, but it's a work in progress, which is exactly why groups and whatnot. When you go back to what Venus O'Hara herself was mentioning about groups and whatnot, yeah, this whole thing about groups, I'm not a fan of it either because, like, an individual, you think about like the initiatory processes back in the ancient world when individuals would get initiated into the mystery schools and all these ancient practices, all these ancient rituals and whatnot in order for you to get back to who it is that you truly are. You never did it with a group. It was never a group thing. It was always an individual thing. It was always about, yeah, the individual getting back to who he or she truly is. It was always about you getting back to who you truly are on your own. This ain't got shit to do with yeah, being in a group and whatnot. But I mean to say, Dr. Bass, it is just so it is very it's a very deep thing. And again, I've got nothing against the group consciousness because together you could always accomplish way more. It's just that yeah, at this particular time that we're in, the best course of action is to literally achieve what you gotta achieve on your own because the reality of it all is, as I already stated, even Gerald Massey shows it, Hilton Hotema shows it in many of his books, how the initiate, yeah, he didn't say initiates, an initiate would go into the initiatory process in order to yeah, go through the different levels and whatnot. There's even a book, yes, a lost Christian book explaining how Jesus himself went to India. Yes, the 18 years that were missing in the New Testament, essentially Jesus went to India he went to India and China into the mystery schools so that he could be initiated and whatnot. But it makes sense because Jesus himself, even the Bible itself clearly says, is a priest after the order of Melchizedek. And Melchizedek is what now? Melanin. Hard, universal, black substance. Melanin. Jesus was preaching about how niggas should return to their true nigga universal power. Deep stuff probably for another a topic that is probably for another time. But yeah, Dr. Bass, any words before we end it with the Brother Panic video?
Uh, that's like, a lot of people just like have to like just use the energy in the right way and kind of like be open to it, because like if you're receptive to it, then you're just obviously gonna look at it as like a negative light, and if you look at things in a negative light, then it will just manifest negativity. You know what I'm saying? So you could just gotta be optimistic. You just gotta be open. You just gotta be open to receive. And also you just have to be kind of view every situation and view every viewpoint as being positive, because at the end of the day, everything is for your good or good. Everything is happening in divine order. So at this point, that's all.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And I tell you something, Dr. Bass, like, yeah, when it comes to sexuality, right? Just imagine if every man and woman came together in that perfect, in that joyful, in that absolutely peaceful, calm, serene state of mind, coming with one goal to literally make this realm a far more enjoyable experience than all the bullshit seven pillars that were already put in place in order to continue the fake matrix system. Like, just imagine if we were to come together to fucking break this bitch down. And I mean, like, bro, we literally ending it here with Brother Panic as he literally goes through it, explaining essentially what people should know, because yeah, he's one of those guys I recommend anybody should listen to in order to truly get a good grasp of how they in their own individual spiritual journey should um take this spirituality thing and literally go to the next level. Dr. Bass, take it away.
The question is, the demiurge your ego? Yes. And where you hear it the most, it's a Greek word. It means like a false god or something like that, or lesser god, one or the other. But you hear that the most in Gnosticism. And they talk about the demiurge and pretty much the creator of this place and all things human in human thought belongs to him. Well, human thought is the ego. This place is an aspect of the ego. Creation is the ego. So when you used to hear brothers like Phil say things like, which he's repeating from a doctrine, I am that I am, or you even heard that in the Bible. Who are you? I am that I am. That's another way of saying whatever you could possibly think of, I am. I don't have to express it. So when you say, I'm a bee, I'm a flower, I'm a gnat, rat, cat, and a dog, and all of these things in creation that you see, that's the one I am that I am trying to prove itself. So creation itself is an ego trip. This is an ego. That's the game here. You're coming into the ego to understand how to get back to the true nature of I am that I am, that is all internal. Or you heard this before, becoming the one. To become the one is to understand that you are all the gods, which is what I said earlier. You are all the gods, the one. You understand what I'm saying? And I explained that of all the gods that are on the boat with you in the pyramid text of how they have different roles in your DNA because you are all these gods. These gods are aspects of your DNA. You understand? So now, to become the one, you have to be truly be out of creation, because creation, you are a bee, you are a cat, you are reptilian, you are all of these things. But what you have to but you're having the experience where you think they are outside of you. That's why you're easily duped, as I pointed out with things like community, because that really, when you wash it all away, you're saying, I depend on something outside of me to become fixed, the community to become fixed, so I can become fixed. So as soon as black people figured out how to have an economy, I'll be okay. As soon as black people figure out how to have an education, I'll be okay. As soon as we create a school for black boys, I'll be okay. No, those black boys will be okay, and that's a great idea. Like I said, this is no debate or me shitting on it. Everybody does exactly what they do. But you have a mentality that when things happen outside of you in the community, just like when you were in church and you learned it in the first place, when Jesus comes back, oh, watch it, nigga. There's going to be some shit. Something outside of you. Or, oh, Oshun, thank you for allowing me to braid your hair and wash your feet. I'm going to the beach because Oshun told me. Oh, Oshun is mad at me because I didn't put out 21 glasses of water. All of those things are demiurge thoughts. Those are things that keep you locked in humanity, and they're talking about this lesser God or a lesser aspect of your consciousness that created this place. But again, there's many debates and contradictions, just like we have now, they had then. Some look at it as a school, some look at it as a prison. What I'm finding out more through understanding, it's actually not a prison, but it can be a prison if you're ignorant. You go through a lifetime of this misery, and it just becomes about this misery, not the goal in consciousness, which is overcoming the misery. You understand? You're here to overcome it, and how you overcome it is in the heart. Therefore, I'm now understanding how it's supposed to manifest in society for me in terms of courtesy, being able to give and receive it to a nobody. Because it's not about them or humanity and how it's dying. It's about you and what your heart is transforming into. The kingdom of heaven is right here. Right here. And if you live by this instead of this, your gray matter brain and your thinking and your thought and your reasoning is the demiurge. This is the demiurge, nigga. What you think is deep, Hotepper. How you walking around, how you see all these niggas dropping as soon as I talk. Yeah, fucking, he's the black son and black Jesus. All from here. When it should be, this should be open, so this could start to open up. This is the kingdom of heaven. This is the demiurge. So the deeper meaning, I think, of what the Gnostics were talking about ultimately wasn't a person in the sky. They were talking about an aspect of your consciousness that has fallen. But it's supposed to, because to find the kingdom is the goal. That was represented in the movie Coming to America. You were already in the kingdom, but you go to Queens because you want the problem. You brung with you semi-consciousness. Let's just go home. I want a manicure. That's what you say all the time. Fuck that, I want to go home. Fuck that, how do you die and not come back? I want to see what it means. That's your semi-consciousness. Eddie Murphy knew I had to find the love first. You understand? I have to find the love first before we could go home, Semi. Semi took the money and built a kingdom in that rat-infested home. Come on, niggas. I just told you this is not your home and you can't build a kingdom there. So Eddie Murphy came in, took his money, said you can't get into trouble, and I want to move downstairs and let this landlord who's full of shit, he can have this fucking place. We must live poor. I told him my home is very poor. I am what? A goat herder. That's Jesus. He came to save her. He was the Christ. But even if the Christ comes here, which is you, every conscious person is the Christios or the Christ. That's you. So you come, you're here to find your heart or your Lisa or your love and take it back to the kingdom because it's a form of alchemy. He was already there. He was already bought. He had ass wipers. And if you think I'm bullshitting, John Landis did that movie. And John Landis is a fucking occultist, period. Him and Dan Aykroyd are boys. John Landis did a lot of Dan Aykroyd movies. And the other one, who's dead, who was one of the Ghostbusters. Not not Bill Murray, who's not too
Harold
bad
Ramis.
himself in the occult. But the other middle one, the tall guy, he was an occultist. And he's done movie. John Landis was an occultist. John Landis got famous for, well, I don't know if he got famous, but in his fame, he did Thriller with Michael Jackson. An occultist. Egon. There you go. Y'all know it. Harold Ramis. Very good. Harold Ramis.
Woo! Man, Dr. Bass, what a way to end this fucking life, man. I swear, it's like, yeah, they tried to stop us, but like, yeah, they only made sure that we came back with a bang, brother. Like, I tell you, Dr. Bass, what a way to end a great two-parter. Like, honestly, what was the verse again? They tried to do something against us for evil,
Oh,
but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Dr. Bass.
oh yeah, that was yeah, like the first one they tried to like stop us or like they tried to attack us, but we like
Mm-hmm.
kept prevailing and whatnot. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like today, oh yeah. Like today, we just fucking overcame it. We just overcame it, Dr. Bass. Like, ooh, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Like, yeah, yeah, I honestly don't even know what to say. Like, Brother Panic, he literally just fucking laid all the cards on the table. Like, he literally just like revealed it all right there. He just literally shared it all right there. Like, any thoughts, any comments, Dr. Bass? Because like that it's a good way to end a two-part life.
yeah, that 2 part live we did, we went back to back with it. Like they couldn't call us Drizzy Drake out this joint. We going back to back out there. But crap.
Yeah, Dr. Bass, I'm telling you, that's just what it is, my brother. What the enemy means for evil, source in and of itself, true self, turns it around for our own good. And yeah, essentially, what did you take from that video, Brother Panic? Yeah, that we just watched there, my brother.
Yeah, like straight up, like he was like pretty much like if you want to take something out of that video, basically he was saying like everything you seek, everything you're trying to find, it can be found within yourself. That confidence comes from the heart. Your you're like you know what I'm saying? Like you see people saying like, oh yeah, you probably like, oh yeah, he's a god, she's a goddess, like, oh, they know so much information, but all the information is coming from the heart. All the information is coming from the intuition. So you can have the same type of experience, but you just have to tap in within yourself, like, because all the information, the truth is the truth. So at this point, you just have to realize the truth can be found within. So guess what? If you go within, there goes the truth. So you see people who are like speaking out on truth and you probably like, oh yeah, that person is so knowledgeable. This person knows so much information. But at the end of the day, you can learn that same information as well. You can say the same information too. You get what I'm saying? But you just have to tap in within yourself.
Indeed, Dr. Bass. And you know, something that's so interesting, Hilton Hotema mentions it throughout his books. Like, the kingdom of God is within. I believe it's Luke chapter 17, verse 21, where Jesus was mentioning everybody's going to say, oh, the kingdom of God is there, or the kingdom of God has yet to come, or the kingdom of God is in the east, or in the west, or in your mother's vagina, or, well, maybe there's some, maybe there's some truth to that, because you know, with sexual tantra and yeah, tapping into the higher realms through sex, but um, that's neither the here nor there. All I'm saying is, behold, the kingdom of God is within you. You are God. The heart is your throne. The heart is your kingdom. Jesus already said so. What the fuck are Christians waiting for at the so-called end of the day? What the fuck are they waiting for? There is no God that's gonna come back to save your monkey ass. You're too fucked in your mind. There ain't nobody that's gonna take you back to their kingdom. You're too fucked in your mind. Ain't nobody who's gonna take your sick, mentally psychotic self, take you back to their kingdom to go fuck up the blissful, peaceful, serene, tranquil, calm vibe over there because you're too fucked in your mind. Heck, not even Satan will want to take these motherfuckers to hell. That's just how bad it is, my brother. Not even fucking Satan want to take these motherfuckers to
Not
Dr.
even
Bass.
Satan out there, joint.
Why even Satan don't want these motherfuckers up in hell? He be like, yo, we having a party down here. Heaven is cold. No, heaven is hot, hell is cold. Like, I believe the Netflix show Lucifer, shout out to Enoch the Freestyle Prince, even showed us that. But of course, we know that heaven and hell are just a mind state. But think about it. The human body could deal with heat far greater than it can with extremely cold weather. So what the fuck does that tell you? Heaven is hot, hell is cold, but that's neither the here nor there. Not even Satan wants to be dealing with these mentally lost people because he knows for a fact. Because think about it, bro. Go back to the story in Genesis where after Adam and Eve ate the fruit, their eyes became opened and whatnot. Fucking God yelled about the demiurge, literally said, behold, man has become like us and whatnot. Now lest he put his hand forth and eat from the tree of life. You heard that? First he ate from the tree of uh, knowledge of good and evil, and then he said, lest he put his hand forth to eat from the tree of life. Meaning, we are not dealing with the source of all creation, we are dealing with a demiurgical entity that is only responsible for the creation of the physical realm, which in the occult and esoteric world, in occult circles, it is a low creation. There we go. So what the fuck are these religious people waiting on? Jesus would, even if Jesus did exist, he wouldn't come back for your monkey ass. Even Satan wouldn't want you bitches up in fucking hell. To show you how fucked these people are in the mind, they cannot see it for themselves, my brother. But you know what? I'm not here to bash religious people. I'm just saying, just like as you perfectly laid it out, brother, anybody can reach that state of knowing. Anybody can reach that state of gnosis. Anybody can reach that state of higher cosmic awareness, universal wisdom, understanding, overstanding, the whole nine yards. Dr. Bass, thank you so much for today, my brother. We made it happen. They tried to stop us, they tried to slow us down. Fuck it. Fuck them. They only made us come back with a bang. Any last words as we close this out, my brother? Yeah, sexual magic, tantra. the whole 9 yards. The best thing you could do is read up on books from Mantak Chia. Shout out to Brother Joseph for mentioning him. Yeah, Mantak Chia. He has a lot of good books on sexual magic, like sexual practices and whatnot, how to cultivate your own inner energy to literally manifest the desired results of whatever it is that you set your mind forth to accomplish and whatnot. Like, yeah, and yeah, there are a lot of books out there and whatnot, and yeah, a lot of lectures from Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, Dr. Phil Valentine, and the list goes on and on. Dr. Mumbi, Real Merkaba, Thai Spiritual, Young Pharaoh, General Seti. I can go on and on, but any last words, Dr. Bass? Oh yeah, yeah, everyone. When it comes to sexual consultation or whatever, hey, Dr. Bass, what is it that you have in store for the people, brother?
Yeah, like listen, like yo, if you trying to like know how to please your woman or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Just sign up for a consultation. You get what I'm saying? But nah, that's just funny though. But yeah, like yeah, there's some good information out here on this joint.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, Dr. Bass, man, thank you so much for the opportunity, brother. Yeah, again, you are not a children's channel. You were never focused on sharing anything with children. Your channel was never geared toward children. But there comes a point where children must eventually become adults. And unfortunately, with the system and whatnot, many people, unfortunately, remain overgrown children throughout their experience. And where I'm currently living in St. Martin, it is just pathetic and sad. I mean, like, what the fuck? Many people mentally have not moved past the age of 10, my brother. That is just sad. But I mean, hey, this ain't got nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me because lower vibrational beings, yeah, you just can't expect them to elevate beyond the realm of um comfort and yeah, complacency, and yeah, they're just not capable of um moving beyond the level that they're at because quite frankly they don't want to move beyond the level that they're at, my brother. I mean, it's all a choice. Like, yeah, you choose to remain stupid, and ignorance in and of itself can once again be remedied by knowing, by opening up your mind, opening up your vision, like literally broadening your perspective. But anyway, Dr. Bass, any last words for the audience?
The last words I would definitely say is like at this point, like children already know a lot of adult things, but they like since they're young, they can get away with it because they're so like innocent. That's why like for me, right? Look, for me, like personally, like I look young and I look like I'm innocent, but I just know this type of information, so I can play both sides. So for kids out there, listen, you can just literally play both sides at this point. You can be looking like your innocent soul, like you don't really know anything on one side, but then on the whole other side, you can be a straight savage. You can know all this occult knowledge and whatnot and then use both to your advantage. So that's the last thing I'll say.
Oh yeah, just like what Dr. Mumbi said, literally use a story that people themselves are like stuck upon because like they only see one aspect. I mean, how can I say? People often only see a particular perspective of another individual. Like one individual, a good example. I in my lower vibrational state would only see a particular perspective of Brandon because yeah, I don't think highly of myself, so naturally I would not think highly of Brandon himself. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Bass? So
Oh,
like it's a mirroring effect. I don't love myself enough. I don't think highly of myself enough. So naturally I'm not going to think highly enough or loving enough of another individual. It just is what it is. You have to love yourself before you love anyone else. So while you're growing spiritually, while you're growing mentally, yeah, you give the facade that you're still the person that they knew from years ago, and really that has everything to do with them, and that doesn't have a damn thing to see with you because you're elevating and you're moving up to the next level. Like what Buzz Lightyear keeps, I don't know why. I mean, I'm not a fan of Toy Story or Pixar or Disney or any way, but that quote just sticks with me to infinity and beyond. Like, shout out for sharing that one, Dr. Bass. That's a great one right there. To infinity and beyond.
Yeah, definitely. Like we gotta keep going up because like we have to return back to our will godhood state. And then like it's funny how like how you said like when heaven is like hot and whatnot, most of these people they can't even handle the sun. So how can they even handle heaven at this point? So like
Oh, Dr. Bass, it's just, I mean, it's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's fun making a mockery of religious people simply because they choose to be stupid. They choose to remain in that stubborn clinging of ignorance. And like, I mean, I really wish they could just wake the fuck up and just see reality for what it is. Um, like Brother Panic said, you look at individuals like Eddie Murphy, John Landis, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. He's no longer in this world, but I mean to say, yeah, Bill Murray, Arsenio Hall. I mean, these individuals behind closed doors, who knows what they know that we ourselves are yet to discover. You know what it is I'm saying? I'm not saying that they know everything, but I mean to say, and remember, John Landis directed the Michael Jackson Thriller video. And the Michael Jackson Thriller video, do remember, he had three phases. He had his regular human self. He had the were. I don't know why. When I looked on Wikipedia, it said he transformed into a werecat, but I don't know. If you ask me, he just transformed into a regular werewolf. But I mean, that's neither the here nor there. And his third and final form was a fucking zombie. So that was all like subliminal messaging showing us that yeah, not long after that, Michael Jackson would just go through these radical physical changes. I mean, the 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 blatancy is right in our faces, my brother. It's only looking back, I'm like, goodness gracious, look at the fucking magic that they were working right before us. I mean, like Michael Jackson's life from, I mean, he still kept making currency and whatnot, but holy shit, that man was tortured by demons, right? Whether it be from within and without. Like, bro, give your own take on Michael Jackson on that one before we close, because holy shit, the more I stop and think about it, yo, may that soul, may that spirit, may that spiritual being truly get the rest that he deserves. Because yeah, when you talk about Mike, you talk about Tupac, you talk about Bob Marley. Yeah, these were individuals. They literally used their platform to let people know, hey, the system is the enemy. The system is what's keeping you down. The system is what you should try to get out of. But man, Dr. Bass, give your own take on that because yo, that is a probably a topic. That's a whole topic we could probably get into another time, my brother. Like, holy shit, Michael Jackson was tortured by fucking demons, for lack of a better word.
yeah, like for like all the celebrities who come like speak out on the truth and whatnot, like we already know what happens when they speak out, you know what I'm saying? Especially like when they give you like all that platform and all those followers and attention and whatnot, that's what you signed up for. And like if you it's just like the social credit system, like if you speak if you they give you all this like currency and whatnot, but like once you speak out on the truth, oh guess what, you can't use your ATM. Oh, they freeze your bank account because you spoke out on the truth and whatnot. Just look at China, right? So that's kind of like the same thing for these celebrities. Like they have to follow the agenda. If they don't follow the agenda, then guess what, oh, we're gonna do a ritual. Oh, your family member passed away. Oh, your best friend is gone. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, we see it.
And you know, bro, especially when I noticed that with these NBA players, like Michael Jackson's, not Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan's father died right when, right, I believe just after he won his third straight championship. I'm like, what the fuck? And they want to say, oh, it was what was it? They said something about, yeah, Michael Jackson. What, I keep saying Michael Jackson, but Michael Jordan, he always had a gambling problem, even during his playing days. I'm like, ah. So that in a way just shows you that these, not only are these celebrities not perfect and whatnot, it just shows you that these motherfuckers have just as much, if not more, problems to deal with in their own individual existence than the average Joe living down the street. But I need to say, like, yeah, his father dies just after he wins his third straight championship in 1993. I'm like, what the fuck? And then when you look at Michael Jackson and his symbolic, bizarre, radical physical changes, I'm like, what the hell, man? Especially looking back, it's very disturbing. And Bob Marley, well, we know that he was a man always speaking truth in his songs, and the fact that he died so young, what really went on there? And then the list goes on and on and on. And I remember not long ago, Ben Simmons, what was it, his cousin or some shit? His cousin died in a car accident, so called. Like, bro, I mean, nothing is a fucking coincidence. This system is being run by blood magic. It's literally a blood sacrifice, blood ritual system. It's either you're with them or you're against them. But if you choose to be with them, you better not think you going against them, you're going to be clean because, oh, be prepared to lose a lot. But anyway, Dr. Bass, any last words?
Yeah, like for like the last part I would say is like for the Michael Jordan, like I actually watched that ill movie that they made about, I guess,
Hmm.
about him and whatnot, but like it really kind of like tells about, like it kind of hints at like what they were talking about, like with what he had to go through. But yeah, just not the truth in plain sight at this point.
Oh, yeah. And it's even more amazing that all these entertainers and celebrities and whatnot, yeah, going back to what Panic himself perfectly alluded to, yeah, these people are occultists. These people know things that the average Joe only wishes to even gain a bit of comprehension over. But that's probably a topic for another time. Dr. Bass, thank you very much. And yeah, see you on the next live, but we'll definitely keep in touch, my brother.
Oh yeah, we definitely will. That was late.
Yeah, definitely. Like unscripted, unplanned. It just is what it is. True self, just let it flow. And yeah, peace, 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 everyone. Dr. Bass, we'll keep in touch. And yeah,
Yeah, check you out.
yeah, peace, peace, brother.